Shalom. I like to say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakal Kodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, who are the true leaders of Israel today, and salutations to my Akim, who do this work in truth and sincerity, who are risking their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen, but are not by way of their forefathers' seeds who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai. And the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as were the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. This is your brother Akale from the GMS Jamaica Kingston camp, and this video is about the captivity. Alright, I'm going to start off with our captivity, the captivity of you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and then the captivity that is soon to come, alright, for the heathen nation, starting with Esau, Edom, so-called white man. Alright, so let's jump straight into it. Alright, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So Egypt again, man. Alright, Egypt represents our bondage. Alright, back in ancient Egypt, the Lord delivered us from Pharaoh. Alright, Moses was there to lead us out of that Egypt. Alright, and now we're coming to the time where current Egypt, alright, a miracle in Revelation chapter 11 is referred to spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Alright, it is that major captivity that we're now facing. Alright, and Yahushua is going to come and deliver us out of this captivity, man. Alright, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, right? And when it says no man shall buy you, it means no man shall redeem you, all right? And that's true, man. There has been no group of people or whatever, or individuals to redeem us out of this, all right? And Yahushua is not returning as a man. Yahushua is returning as an angelic being, man, all right? A spiritual being, okay? He's coming back as a God. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be a simple, everyday man in flesh coming. He's coming with a new, powerful body, man. All right. So we're in this state of being right now, man. We're in captivity. Okay. But guess what? This captivity came upon us because of our transgressions, all right, against Yahweh Shemeshai. And so we have suffered all of these curses that's spoken about in Deuteronomy chapter 28. All right. But even though we're in captivity right now, and we've been in captivity for centuries, all right, the time is coming to an end, because right now we're at the end of this current captivity, which is Edomite captivity, man. All right. We are subject unto the Edomites, who are these so-called white people. And these Edomites are the wicked, man. Job chapter 9, verse 24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. All right. So these Edomites are ruling. And then in the book of Genesis, all right, it talked about the blessing that these Edomites would have, man. All right. The fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. All right. And that they would rule by the sword. So in some point in time, all right, Yahweh Shemeshai would give full rulership unto the sons of Esau, who are these Edomites, these so-called white people, all right? No other nation, all right, has had such a firm grip upon the world, all right? But guess what? We're at the end of it, all right? The end of the rulership of the Edomites, the end of this world, which is the end of this age. We're currently in the transition period, all right? As it says in 2nd Ezra chapter 6, starting at verse 7, for Esau is the end of the world, talking about the end of this age, the end of this era, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So our kingdom is coming, man. All right, and then let me just jump on over to Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord Yahweh thy power hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul. And then the Lord Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity, all right, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations. So we're speedily approaching this time, man. Yahweh Shemishai is slowly but surely taking away our captivity from us, all right, lifting these curses off of us, even though, we're about to head into Jacob's trouble. You know what I'm saying? The curses are just very slowly but surely being lifted off of us, and then we will be it will be completely lifted when Yahushua returns to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel. All right? And will return and gather thee from all nations, right? So that makes me think of Isaiah chapter 11. All right? You should go to that that book and that specific chapter and read it, man. All right? Where the Lord said that he will gather us from all these places, whither the Lord thy power hath scattered thee, right? The scattered, man. All right, so let's talk about the scattered Israelites, because Israel has been scattered to the four corners of the earth, mingling among the heathen, having children with these heathen women, and you are what your father is. All right, so once an Israelite man plants seed within any of these heathen women, you know how the children eventually look. And so right now, to this very day, you have Israelites who look so-called white, so-called Chinese, so-called Japanese, so-called Arabian, so-called East Indian, and all of these kinds of things, like so-called what are they, the Samoans, Pacific Islanders. All right, our people look like all the heathen nations, but soon all of our people will be gathered together. If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of the heaven, from thence will the Lord thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy power will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, right? So Hebrews chapter 8, all right, the laws are going to be written within us. We will no longer go off, all right? The reason why we're in this situation is because we went off against Yahweh Shemishai. In the kingdom of heaven, all right, the Israelites, us, we won't be going off, man. So there will be no need to punish, okay? And the heart of thy seed to love the Lord thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Right? So now, boom. We're going to segue into the next part, captivity for the heathen, because the Most High says he's going to put all the curses upon thine enemies. And what's that one major curse, man, that is coming for them? Captivity, slavery. All right? This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So the scripture is very plain and straight to the point. All right. Let's read it again. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. All right. Boom. All right. And all of these heathen nations have done this to us, man. In the book of Maccabees, let me see if I can get it. This is First Maccabees chapter 2, and let's see, verse 9. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her, referring to Israel, all right. Her young men with the sword of the enemy, right. What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils, right? What nation hath not taken part in putting us in captivity, man? All right, you read the book of Judges. You read, the current scripture right now, man. Revelation, Job. You know what I'm saying? These heathen have all had us in captivity at some point in time, and so they will have to face the captivity that's coming, man. But It's especially going to be falling upon you Edomites, man, because you Edomites are the wicked, you so-called white people, all right? And so within the kingdom of heaven, right, y'all people are going to have to build up our walls, okay? In Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 10, it says, "And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee," right? In the wrath the Most High put us in captivity, "but in my favor have I had mercy on thee," right? So these heathen are going to be building up our kingdom, man. All right, Psalms chapter 2 and verse 8. "Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance," right? So the heathen, being our slaves, is a part of the inheritance of the Israelites, man. "And the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession," right? Rulership of the earth, man. All right. And our rulership even goes beyond this earth right here, man. All right. You know, in the book of John, it says, "In my Father's house there are many mansions," referring to worlds. So there are many other planets out there. All right. "And we will rule all of them. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel." Okay. So this is what we're going to be doing to the heathen, man. "As it is written, so it shall be done." That's prophecy. Okay. And then Psalms chapter 149, I believe. Let's see. Verse 6. Verse 5, "Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord, Yahweh Khan." So it's all just straight to the point, man. And our captivity is coming to an end, and their captivity is speedily approaching, man. And, you know, within the captivities that we've faced under these heathen, you know, they've been awful, man. And they've been especially awful because these heathen, they don't dwell, the spirit of Yahweh Shemisha is not within them. So when they've had us in captivity, man, they have dealt very unrighteously with us. They've done unrighteous, wicked, abominable acts onto our people, man. All right. But you know what? In the kingdom of heaven, yeah, they're going to be in captivity, and it's going to be a hard captivity, man. All right. It's going to be a back-breaking captivity. In the book of Ezekiel, it talks about continual employment, man. All right. But guess what? We're going to be dealing with them righteously. We're not going to be doing things such as what Esau did to us, like, you know, buck breaking, for example. All right, we're not going to be doing that, man. They're going to be dealt with righteously through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemishai, but they're still going into captivity. So that I'd like to say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemishai, Bashim Kakodash, Wa Abad, Babal, Shalom.